So, this was a less than ideal season for the Ravens. After the first 5 or so games, we realized that the defense really wasn't great, and the offense wasn't the number one offense in the league. And then Lamar gets hurt. We try to throw out Cooper Rush for a couple games. Failed experiment, but we get Snoop Huntley. He comes in, saves us a couple games, and then Lamar is back. At this point, the offense is trying to tread water. The defense has kind of solidified itself as a middle of the pack defense, but something is not quite right. We then go on a 5-game win streak. We lose to the Patriots after blowing a lead. Lamar gets hurt in that game. Snoop comes in, beats the Packers, and the Browns somehow beat the Steelers in Week 17. That leads to a Week 18 matchup against the Steelers for the division, and unfortunately, the kick was wide. So now it's time to rebuild. I have taken it upon myself to do a 2-year rebuild of the Ravens in Madden franchise. We're going to be doing a lot of the things that I think should happen, maybe might not happen, but I think should. This is how I would rebuild the Ravens. I think just have it be a 2-year rebuild. I think for the first year, get some of the younger players, get some of the rookies involved a little bit more, and then for the second year, go all out. Here at Madden, we can choose our coach type or become John Harbaugh. What I think the Ravens should do is I believe we should get an offensive head coach, like a play caller head coach as our new head coach. I think we should move on from John Harbaugh. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're just going to fire our coordinators and shift the blame to them. Well, man, was I wrong. But I think we should move on. I think it's time. I think the message in the locker room has gotten stale. So, out of all of the head coaches in this cycle, who could it be? Brian Flores comes to mind. He's more defensive. I wouldn't mind him. Mike McDaniel, maybe not a head coach candidate, but could be an offensive coordinator candidate. Jesse Minter, if we get Jesse Minter, I'm fine with that. I think he's going to be a great head coach. His defense is insane with the Chargers. However, I think we need to get Lamar an offensive-minded head coach and really try to win this thing. And I think Clint Kubiak from the Seahawks is the perfect candidate for this system. Has come up with Sean McVay, has spent time with Mike McDonald in that Seahawks, the number 1 seed, has really gotten the run game going with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet in Seattle. I think that Clint Kubiak is the best option as our head coach for the Ravens this year. So unfortunately, we only can go in through week 16, not week 18. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be forcing the away, and home wins of the record that actually happened. That way we could get closer to the 14th pick. Also, there is, in Madden, there aren't great draft classes for the upcoming draft class. So I'm going to be doing a first-round mock draft of PFF, mock simulator. Granted, I don't know a lot about the incoming class yet. I usually do that in my research after. So I'm only going to be doing one round and just picking whoever seems like the pick at that spot. As for the other rounds, we're going to use just like the auto-generated Madden class. So that brings us to week 16, where we are also going to be doing some contract extensions, some fixing of the contract extensions, as well as moving a couple of people's age down so they don't retire, so I can retain them for the next season or two. So in order for DeAndre Hopkins and eventually John Jenkins to not retire in this upcoming cycle of free agency, I'm going to drop their age down to 23 instead of 33. That way, and then I'll just put it back up once we actually get into the game so that they don't progress super highly. Same thing with John Jenkins. His age is going to go down to 26 instead of 36. And unfortunately, I do believe that Nnamdi Madubuike will medically retire. Unfortunately, it's not a great thing, and I wish the best for him. But in Madden, I think that just the way that this year has gone and the secrecy behind it, I believe that he will retire. So I'm going to take all the money down. He's going to be a free agent this year. That's fine. Hopefully none of the AFC teams get him. I don't feel like destroying his stats. But this is going to be Nnamdi Madubuike's contract, so that when we do release him or we do not re-sign him, then it won't count towards our cap. Similarly, with contracts, John Jenkins got a 1-year extension worth $2 million in salary, and then obviously the $350K bonus that came out earlier today. So I just figured I would put that in here. Travis Jones also got a 3-year extension worth $40.5 million with a $12 million signing bonus. Even though it says 12 years, this is his 4th year, so it's just an extension of 3 years. So that's going to be going up against the cap as well. And then for the final extension that has already been given out is the Nick Moore extension for 4 years, $6.4 million with a $1.2 million signing bonus. And that will go against our cap as well. Okay, so with all those extensions already squared away, we are going to move on to the end of the season. We're going to force the away wins and force the home wins, and I'll show you me doing that now. All right, so here we are in wild card week. We are 8-9. Now we can do whatever we want because technically this hasn't happened yet. So, the first order of business. Lamar Jackson has 3 years remaining on his deal. Really, 2 years. And they are exponential. $74.5 million. So, we're going to give Lamar Jackson an extension. We're going to give him a 4-year, $180 million extension. Really didn't hit the signing bonus because that's I feel like that is in the range, which is basically what, $60 million per year. I think that's fair. I don't know. I really don't know how that's going to work, but I trust that it will be done. That creates a lot less stress on the cap. So instead of being $74 million, it's only $60 million or so. And the best thing about this is that we can restructure his deal, so that will free up $16.7 million in cap space, and add another 4.7 towards the back end of the deal, which really doesn't matter in terms of this because this is only going to be a 2-year rebuild. So now that frees up a little bit of cap. We might restructure again just to get a little bit more cap after the playoffs and stuff. But yeah, let's look at the 2025 retirements. Let's see if anybody from our team has retired. Kyle Van Noy, Brett Urban, Ronnie Stanley is a big one. That is not good because now we're going to have to fill the left tackle and probably a guard position in free agency. Kyle Van Noy and Brett Urban or whatever probably weren't going to bring them back anyway. We're gonna fire some coaches. Todd Monken, Dion Cox, whatever. He's Todd Monken. We're gonna let go. Same with Zach Orr. We're gonna need a clean slate. And I don't think any of these are actual. We could bring John Harbaugh back. So we're just gonna bring Brandon Starks as our offensive coordinator. However, I want Clint Kubiak to be the play caller and our offensive coordinator. For the defensive coordinator, I would like an old defensive coordinator. And I was thinking Jeff Schwartz from Cleveland. I feel like with Stefanski leaving, Jim Schwartz would be the perfect fit with the Ravens. So yeah, that's what I think. I think Clint Kubiak should be the offensive coordinator. Jim Schwartz should be the defensive coordinator. And now it's time to negotiate. Nnamdi Madubuike, unfortunately, I think is going to retire, so we're not going to negotiate with him. We are going to accept the 5th-year option on Zay Flowers. Tyler Linderbaum, I think that we need to get him back because, unfortunately, we're going to need to fill a lot of offensive line spots. So we're going to give him a 5-year, $11 million per year with an $8 million signing bonus. And hopefully he joins. Oh, no. Tyler. So this could be a franchise tag scenario. and I think it will. I'm going to place the franchise tag right now. Tyler Linderbaum will be back for next year. Unfortunately, not the way I wanted it to go. So we're going to go all the way to the back and work our way up, because I think there are some people that I would like to get before some of the bigger contracts. And we have $90 million in salary cap. So Jordan Stout, I'm going to get back on a 4-year, $1.5 million contract. Was a Pro Bowler this year, deserves to be on the team. Similarly, Patrick Ricard, Pro Bowler. I'm going to extend him for the 2 years of this rebuild. Might retire, but he's back for the entirety of this rebuild. Joseph Noteboom, I'm going to let go because I feel like we could get another vet in free agency for a backup tackle. Same thing with Jacob Hummel. I feel like we could either draft a special teamer or get a vet in free agency. Keandre Jackson, however, I really like him. He's like an insane athlete on special teams. And that's why we're going to go 2 years, $500K as a signing bonus, 1.5. Keandre Jackson is back. He is in. He's a freak. He just gets down there very quickly. Charlie Kohler, out of all of the tight ends, I think he is my favorite. I would love to have him back. He doesn't seem to have interest in us, though. That's the problem. We're going to give him a 2-year, a $4 million deal for 3 years. Charlie Kohler is back. That is a big one. Tyler Huntley. I would love to have him back for the entirety of the rebuild as a backup. We're going to give him a 3-year deal worth $2 million per year with a $1.5 million signing bonus. Hopes he resigns. He does. That's a big one. Can't trot out Cooper Rush anymore. DeAndre Hopkins. Now this is going to be a big deal because he's 24. We're going to just give him what he wants, and then we're going to drop the contract down. When I'm thinking, because he's 24 and not 34. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to give him a 2-year deal worth $3 million and then a $1 million signing bonus. So that's going to hurt our cap right now, but towards the end, I'll change it. Tylan Wallace, I think we can draft. I think there's other receivers that could step above him, and I think we could draft a receiver, sign a receiver if we want. Same with David Ajabo. I have a plan for edge and how we're going to fix that. I think he really hasn't done anything while he was here, so. Daniel Falalele, same thing with him. I think Emory Jones is going to step in and fill that right guard spot. His time in Baltimore has been not great. Not a lot of people like him, but John Harbaugh does. But John Harbaugh is not here anymore, so we're going to move on. Our Darius Washington is great. Unfortunately, I think it's time to move on from him. I think he's just going to be a little too much for a third safety role where we can just get like a vet or a draft a safety in free agency, or in the draft, not free agency. But I think our Darius Washington is just going to test free agency. Draymond Jones, I would love to have back. He is he's very flexible in what position he plays. He's only 29. I'm happy giving him a 3-year deal worth $4 million per year. Draymond Jones is back. Chidobe Awuzie unfortunately got cooked on the last play, on one of the very last plays of the game for the Steelers. But I would love to have him back. It's a lot of money for a third corner. We're going to go $6 million, 8.5 signing bonus. Chidobe Awuzie is back for the entirety of the rebuild, as long as he doesn't retire. Alohi Gilman, we needed to get something back for OA, and I think Alohi Gilman was great. He's only 28. It's really, do you want Darius Washington as the undersized safety role or Alohi Gilman as the third safety role? He's a little older, star development, but I think that we could get a third safety who's about the same overall, maybe not the same dev trait, and a little younger as Alohi Gilman in as like a vet in free agency. I don't think that it would be worth paying him. Now if he does get paid, if these two do get paid, so what? That's fine. I think that would be great, but I think that we need more than just like a third safety on our defense. Isaiah Likely, I'm not going to re-sign, although I think we should re-sign him. He would be cheap because he hasn't had a great year. Did end the season off on a bang, though, with that catch. Unbelievable catch. But I think the Ravens are going to let him go, given that we did just pay Mark Andrews. So I think that for the purposes of this rebuild, I'm going to let him test out free agency. Keaton Mitchell is a weird one because I don't really see him starting over Derrick Henry. However, it could be that he is cheap, and he really hasn't showed a lot other than his speed, which is insane. He just needs to get a little bit more vision, and I think he would be insane. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to give him a $2 million deal with a $2.5 million signing bonus for 6 years. Keaton Mitchell is back, and I think that's going to be it for our people getting them back. Tyler Linderbaum, we franchise tagged. Unfortunately, that's going to cost a little bit more money than we expected, which is what, $6 million more. So, with that being said, let's see what is in free agency. Now we have almost $40 million to spend in free agency. Khalil Mack would be fine. He's a little older. Well, he's a lot older than who I was expecting to get. In free agency, we need a tight end and a safety as vets. I really want like an after the catch kind of guy, like Isaiah Likely, to fill in that role. I don't know. I feel like we could just get a tight end as like a vet. We could sign him. I'm looking at the safeties. Nick Cross would be fun. He's from Maryland. We're gonna get Nick Cross for our third safety role, hopefully. We'll give him a 6-year deal, $4.5 million with a $6 million bonus. Where are we on that? Not great. So we're gonna withdraw from Nick Cross, unfortunately. And I did see Dane Belton back here. I think that would fit for what we need. We'll do low risk. We'll do 5 years, $6 million. And we're the number 1 contender in the clubhouse. Now, because Ronnie Stanley retired, I would like to look at the offensive line to see if there's anybody worth getting in this stage of free agency. Taylor Moton seems like the only one. How much is he looking for? Oh, that's a lot of money for Taylor Moton. So I think we draft. I think we just draft a tight end. I think Voorhees is fine at left guard. Emory Jones will slide in at right guard. Linderbaum at center. And then it's one of the tackles. Rosengarten could play left tackle if he wants. Right tackle if we draft a left tackle. But we definitely need a defensive tackle because Nnamdi Madubuike is gone. So Dane Belton, does Dane Belton sign with us? He does. Now you might be wondering why we didn't go after any big players in this, why there's still $33 million in the salary cap. Well, I have a plan. Now, when I was doing this earlier, it didn't quite work. I was going to send a second and a first next year to the Raiders for Max Crosby. Now, it didn't quite work. They're not serious in their negotiation. But I think this deal might work because Max Crosby is getting old, and the relationship with the Raiders has kind of not been great with Max Crosby and the Raiders. So I think the Raiders will be looking for anything to get anything for Max Crosby. And I think that a first next year and a second this year might get the job done. All right, so a second this year and a first next year for Max Crosby goes through. And that gets our need for a insane edge rusher that demands multiple people to look after them. That gets our need filled. What will happen is he'll go to, Mike Green will move up to right edge, and then Draymond Jones will go down to a D tackle, and because he's flexible like that. So we're gonna move him down there, probably over Peebles. Could use another D tackle, but remember we have the draft and we have free agency left. Now we are on the board at pick number 14. I will say, Keldrick Falk, I've heard his name pop up a few times, and he's being drafted at around the same where we're at right now. But do we need another edge rusher if we just drafted if we just traded for Max Crosby? I don't think we do. The next two other people that I saw are Caleb Banks and Spencer Fano, which are a D tackle and a regular offensive tackle. I think I'm going to go Spencer Fano instead of trading back. I think with the addition of Max Crosby, we don't have to reach for a D tackle in round 1. I think with Ronnie Stanley retiring unexpectedly, we're going to go Spencer Fano. I was planning on going with the D tackle, Carl Banks. However, I think it might make sense to go with the offensive tackle and make him either our right tackle and move Rosengarten over, or make Spencer Fano our left tackle. Now, how are we going to make Spencer Fano in the game? That is, well, what we're going to be doing is we're just going to take the first offensive tackle on the board and draft them. And then we'll make Colin Crea into Spencer Fano. And the grade actually might be fine, so we'll see. Now, we don't have a second round pick because we traded it for Max Crosby. Instead, we have a third round pick. That's our next one. And we need a defensive tackle, we need an offensive guard, a receiver, and a special teamer linebacker. So I would love to get a D tackle here, and it looks like there are some good ones on the board. I'm going to go Trent McLean. That A finesse moves. That's a good archetype for defensive tackles. Not great. That was really bad. But we needed a defensive tackle to solidify. We're in the 4th round now. What about? We need a guard. Andy Sanders looks good. Oh, this guy, Corey Cannon, looks really good. We're going to draft him. Number 55 in the class, drafted him at 110. So if we flip-flop the other guy for Corey Cannon, it's a pretty good draft. Okay, so my face cam just died. So you won't be seeing me. I'm going to take Ty Hill. Hopefully he's good. It didn't look good. He's not good at all. See, this is what happens when you don't have a lot of points into scouting. We're gonna Derek Donald. What a weird name. We're gonna go with Elijah Sims. Hope he's good. 268, drafted him at 179. Not great, but whatever. This draft is not going the way we wanted to. We're going to go Brian Marshall as our special teamer. Out of Alabama, he's got to be good. All right, 163 out of 188. That's a good pick. That's going to end our draft. Not great, but we are going to grab some veterans for the team. Build it up. Let's look at our draft recap. Obviously, the first person that we drafted is not going to be our actual player. But he is a 73 overall, so we're going to keep it. We're going to keep Spencer Fano is 73, I think. Corey Cannon is also a 73 overall, which is good. Everybody else, not so good. So we fixed our offensive line this draft. Spencer Fano is probably going to be a star. Corey Cannon, also going to be a star. So let me fix this one and the ages of people, and then DeAndre Hopkins' contract. And I will see you in week 1 with what our team is going to be looking like. All right, so we got to cut 8 players. We'll cut Keith Kirkwood. Elijah Sims will be our 6th receiver. Tight end. Oh, we forgot to grab some people in free agency. Let me do that real quick. We're going to grab Jelani Woods. He's young enough. We're going to sign him to the active roster. There's one veteran. We're going to grab Andres Pete. That's a lot of money for him, but it's fine. And then, is there anybody else here that I want to give a shot? Well, we could use another D-tackle, actually. Christian Wilkins. You know what? Nobody kicked the tires last year due to on-the-field concerns. But you know what? I am going to. Or off-the-field concerns, sorry. I'm going to be kicking the tires on that. Alright, so this is what the offense looks like. We have Lamar Jackson, obviously. Derrick Henry, obviously. Then defensively, we have our D tackles. Travis Jones is going to be DT1. Christian Wilkins is going to be DT2. DT3 is John Jenkins with his extension. Nate Wiggins moves up to CB1. Marlon Humphrey is going to be in the slot. Malachi Starks is going to be the free safety. Dane Belton is going to be the third safety. And Kyle Hamilton over there, strong safety. Edge rushers are weird because there's so many of them. I'm considering putting Draymond Jones down at DT3. But I'm gonna leave him at edge for now. He's gonna swap with Mike Green. Tavius Robinson's gonna be swapping with Max Crosby. Roquan and Teddy Buchanan are gonna be the linebackers. Trent Simpson is gonna be the Sam linebacker, or third linebacker, if you will. So yeah, we are going. I already did the scouts, so we're gonna be sitting to the midseason mark. We are using the Seattle playbook because we brought in the Seattle offensive coordinator, so why not use their playbook? We are 5-2 at the midseason mark. We have 11 players ready to negotiate. Tyler Linderbaum is going to be the one. Trenton Simpson, I'm okay with letting go, but we have negative $33 million in salary cap, which is not good. Marlon Humphrey, I'm good letting go. Most of these people, I'm okay letting go. We need to create some cap room, though. See if we can restructure Lamar's deal again. Yeah, $17 million there. Okay, restructure Roquan. All right, that gives us a little bit of space. And you know what? We're 6-2. We're gonna send them to the playoffs. I feel good about this year. We went 15-2. Let's go. We won the bye. Love to see that we went 15-2 with Clint Kubiak. Could you imagine that happening next year? We play the Bengals in the divisional. We're just gonna skip to the AFC Conference Championship. See if we can survive. We do. We end up winning 24-17. We play the Broncos for the AFC Championship. Let's see if we can get it done. I don't think we did. We lost. That sucks, but we have another year. 15-2 first year. That is great. Now we just have to focus on retaining whoever we can retain. Broncos, Packers is going to be the Super Bowl. Let's look at the retirements. I did see DeAndre Hopkins retired. John Jenkins and DeAndre Hopkins retired after this year. So, what does that mean for our team? We're going to need a D tackle and a wide receiver 3, really. Tez could step up in that role, but we definitely need a back-end receiver. Players ready to negotiate. We do have $1.5 million in cap room. We could... All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to accept the option on Nate Wiggins. And everybody else... I'm okay with losing out on, except for Tyler Linderbaum. So, with that being said, let's see if we can restructure some deals. Perfect. $18.5 million. That works for me. We now have $17 million. Low risk, 4-year deal. That's fine. 10.5, 7.5. Tyler Linderbaum is back. We're going to save our money. We don't really need another backup edge rusher. We could just get a vet in free agency. So yeah, we definitely need corner. That's a big thing. Is there anybody in free agency that we could end up signing? Kenny Clark would be cool. It's a lot of money for him, though. There are some good edge rushers in here. I don't know. I think we just save our money for now. And we don't have our first round pick. I just remembered we sent it over for Max Crosby. That's fine. Don't really need anything in the first round. Corner would have been great. D-tackle would have been fine. Let's see if we can find any good D-tackle or corner on the board now. Yikes. There aren't any good corners. There's not a single one that's good. Alright, we could draft a safety, move him to corner. I wouldn't mind that. Probably would have been Matt Chamberlain if I... Is he fast? He's okay. Alright, I'm going to take Matt Chamberlain, move him to corner. I feel like... Alright, drafted 17, or drafted at 62. He was ranked 17. Good pick. Oh, Peter Forbes looks good. So does Emmanuel Jacobs and Joel Holiday. We'll save D-tackle for the end. We're going to double up on D-tackle. He ran a 4.6. Oh, he's okay. Glenn Elliott is going to be the pick here. Another linebacker, but that's just because Trenton Simpson left. Oh, bad pick. Picked him at 94. He was ranked 254. We got our linebacker, I guess. Now I think it's time to take some of these D-tackles. Peter Forbes was the first one. Peter Forbes was ranked 114, took him at 126. All right. And Joel Holiday is going to be our next pick. He was ranked 20, first-round talent at 158. Good pick. And I think we're going to end our draft with an edge rusher here. We'll go Jimmy Underwood. He looks decent. Doesn't look great. Great for where we pick him. And 157, 190. It's all right. 75 overall. Ooh, Joel Holiday is a 75. We love to see it. Do these have... All right, hidden dev for Matt Chamberlain. Hidden dev for Joel Holiday. That will play. Jimmy Underwood 67. That's fine. Peter Forbes is 69. Glenn Elliott 65. All right, so after getting some of the contracts restructured, we ended up freeing like $20 million in cap space. So with that cap space, we are going to go after like a vet edge rusher as a backup. Bring back Jadeveon Clowney. Tavius Robinson is also here. Interesting. We'll bring back Tavius Robinson. He can be our Sam linebacker. All right, so here is the team. Derrick Henry is down to an 86. That is not good. Hopefully he can bounce back. But here's the team for the final season. Looks mostly the same. DeAndre Hopkins retired, so now it's Tez Walker at receiver 3. Could end up trading for another high receiver if we wanted to. Brought in Jonnu Smith as the third tight end. Our offensive line looks the same as last year. Defensively, we brought in a lot of different pieces. It looks weird, but we needed a third corner. I was going to bring down Chamberlain, but I think TJ Tampa deserves the shot. If it's not working, then I'm going to trade for a corner, I think. Matt Chamberlain will just play safety, fourth safety behind Dane Belton, I guess, or above Dane Belton. I'm not really sure. Defensive tackle-wise, brought in Keanu Benton as our D-tackle too. Drafted him. You know what? Screw it. We want Holiday over Keanu Benton. An ESP, Peter Forbes, and then Aeneas Peebles are going to round up the D-tackle group. So, I'm going to send him to the midseason mark. See if we needed a trade at the trade deadline. If not, I don't know, but we'll see. All right, we are 5-1. That's really good. And you know how we can get better? Is by trading Dane Belton and a first-round pick, which is number 31, is where it's projected, for Michael Pittman Jr. We needed to go up and get a guy. If we look at our stats here, we are 29th in passing yards. So We needed a big-time threat, and I think he slides in. I'm going to change the receiving room just very slightly, I think. I think Michael Pittman is going to be our #1 receiver. Zay Flowers is going to go in the slot. And I think Bateman is going to be our 3rd receiver. We have a lot of morale. Mark Andrews went down, in dev trait. But our offensive line it's upgrading. Defensively, pretty much the same. Matt Chamberlain is going to be a star development. Holiday is up to a 78. I'm going to play him over Keanu Benton, I think. TJ Tampa, our defense, our pass defense is #3, so I'm not too worried about it. But I think this looks good, and then Matt Chamberlain will just be our 3rd safety. We went 14-3 and got another wild card bye. This is perfect. This is what we want. Hoping for the best. We play the Dolphins in the divisional. Let's see if we can win. And we do beat the Dolphins 26-7. And now we play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. This seems very familiar. Hopefully we don't fumble at the 1-yard line. Zay Flowers. Alright, so here, hopefully we can get the first down going off weak tackle. Found a hole. There's the first down. That should be the game. We kneel this out 3 times. We are going to the Super Bowl. Alright, so this is the Maryland Bowl. This is really cool. Ravens, Commanders, Super Bowl. Let's jump right in. Oh! That was a good cutback from their running back. Oh no, this is not going the way we planned it. Alright, here we go. We got to get some points on the board here. Now we're going to do play action. I don't like this. I'm running out of the pocket. Oh no. Oh no! Interception. I thought Zay Flowers was just going to stay there. Trey Amos with the pick. And now they're up 14-0. 21-0.
4 yards on the
cross.
2nd and 6.
That's going to be a pick. And that's going to be the game. I didn't want to throw to Flowers because I wanted something big. And unfortunately, that's going to be the game. 31-7 is your final. Unfortunately, the Ravens couldn't get it done. But we did 2-year rebuild, and we got to the AFC Championship in 1 year, and then we got to the Super Bowl in the other. What's that mean for the 3rd year? We'll never know, but you could assume, based on the track record, what would happen. That's going to be it for this video. What the Ravens should do in a couple seconds. Move off of John Harbaugh, get Clint Kubiak, upgrade the defensive line and the offensive line, and go on a run. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully we can do it. See you guys later.